Thank you. I am Chandra Capel, Director of Educational Partnerships. Certainly glad to see all of you here this morning. We have some other individuals going to speak to you, and I'll allow each person to introduce themselves. This morning, I want to give you an overview of what we're going to do and how the orientation is going to work for us this morning. We are going to have a brief meeting in here. We've given students a brochure, and we're going to highlight a few things on that brochure. Once we finish that, we'll have a welcome, first of all, from our Vice Chancellor for our Vice President for Academic Affairs. And after that, we're going to go over a brochure. Once we finish that, we will be dividing students in two groups. One group will meet with our Director of Admissions for a brief overview of RCC and a tour. The other group will be getting their technology. And then after about a half an hour, we'll switch groups. So everybody will have an opportunity to do everything. While the students are doing that, the parents will remain in here with us, and we're going to do a Q&A. All right? And we should be finished with everything by 12. Is that all right? All right, awesome. So one thing before I turn it over to the VP, we have a unique situation this year in how our scheduling and classes are. We have a wonderful opportunity to offer some classes on the high school campus this year, which altered our process. So I think there may be some of you that are here because a friend received a schedule and you did not. The orientation today was specific for those who have at least one class here at RCC that's going to begin on August 15th. Those of you who are taking classes at the high school only have not received anything yet, but you will. We will be coming to each individual high school, and this is the traditional high schools, McMichael, Rockingham, Reesville, and Moorhead, to do orientation with you there. So if you are here and that is you, you are more than welcome to stay, but just know that you will receive another orientation on the first week of school. Okay? All right, we'll turn it over for official welcome.
Well, good morning. Let me clarify a few things. I am the Vice President for Academic Affairs. Vice Chancellor, we don't have A&T salary here at Rockingham Community College. Secondly, I don't normally dress like this. I thought I'm going to be like one of my team members and put on some RCC swag, my green pants, and you'll see look how nice they look. But your vice president looks like a student today, doesn't she? So let me apologize for that. I thought I was being part of the team. Turns out I did not get the memo to dress professionally. So my apologies for that. Welcome, welcome. I am so pleased to see the auditorium nearly full. If you are a parent, I want you to stand up. Yes, let's give it up for these parents. Thank you, parents. Thank you, parents, for recognizing this opportunity for your student. I mean, this is an excellent opportunity to get a head start on higher education and employment. Okay, students, stand up. Stand up, students. Yes, yes. I am so proud of you because you have distinguished yourselves from your classmates, your peers at your school. You're taking that big step to get started on a college degree, a credential that leads to employment. So kudos to all of you in this auditorium today. This is big. As Ms. Capel indicated, we have a very unique opportunity this year to be on the high school campus. It's the first time our college has been able to do that, and we are so pleased that we are able to do that. So if you're not supposed to be here today, we're going to go see you the week of the 29th. You just get to hear and see us again. So don't worry. I guess the parents won't be there. But I think it's great that you came today. Please hang around for the duration. You're going to learn some key things to be successful, to get you started on the right path. That student email, that network account, that is critical. And then contact with people that if you lose your way, you know who to email and who to call, okay? So you have a brochure. When they start talking about that brochure, pay attention, because at the end of the session, I ran over to the bookstore to buy some RCC swag. They're going to ask you questions. If you get the answer correct, you're going to get a hat or a T-shirt or something to commemorate this day. So, yeah, isn't that nice? So thank you for choosing RCC. I hope that you'll choose us when you graduate. If not, we are happy to be part of your journey, and best of luck to you.
Well, good morning, guys. My name is Jennifer Lester. I am the Director of Career and Technical Education here at RCC, and I'm so excited to be with you today. I want to introduce to you a couple friends real quick. Carl, if you will come on up here, and Sharon, if you'll come on up. This is Carl Thompson and Sharon Galloway. They are going to be serving in the public high schools this year as career coaches. And what that means is they're going to be there for you guys and for other students 1 to 2 days a week, every week, over the course of the year to help answer questions about RCC, your CCP classes, whatever it is, okay? Carl is going to be at McMichael, Moorhead, and Rockingham, right? Sharon is going to be at Reedsville. So if you are at any of those schools, I want you to see these two fabulous people and memorize their faces and go meet them when school starts, okay? We don't exactly know where their offices are going to be yet, but we think they're going to be near your counseling office, okay? You guys want to? No? Okay. All right. So they will be there for you all. All right. So the students got this brochure when you checked in, and we're just going to go over some things that we think are really important that you need to keep in mind as CCP students this year, okay? We would not highlight these because they're written down unless we thought they were super important, okay? So in your brochure, Tips for Success, the very first thing I want to point out is as a CCP student, you are responsible not only for your high school policies, but for RCC policies too, okay? You are a college student at this point. So things like our calendar versus your high school calendar are super important. There are going to be times when the high school may be called off due to weather, or it may be a teacher work day, or who knows, but we're still open. If we're still open, you are supposed to be in class here, okay? If you're taking a class on this campus, you are supposed to be in class. If you are taking an online class and you have a due date on a day that the public schools close, that due date stands, okay? You still have to log in. If you have an in-person class here and it gets canceled for some reason, a lot of times they're going to ask you to do an online assignment. So you're going to have to log into Moodle and take care of that assignment to be counted present for the day. Okay? So it's very important to check your email. It's very important to keep up with policies. The other huge policy that I think we need to point out is the academic integrity policy. We take academic integrity very seriously. Okay? That means no lying, no cheating, no plagiarism, no, I think we call it gaining unfair advantage. So there are some really important things that you've got to keep in mind. And we have software, when you turn in an assignment, it will scour the internet and see if you are plagiarizing anything. Or it will compare your assignment to your classmates' assignments to see if they are, within a certain percentage of being too similar. And you can get in trouble for that, okay? And it can go on your transcript, your college transcript, that's going to follow you around. So please take academic integrity very seriously, okay? Anything else we want to say about that one?
Okay. We're not going to go through each and every one of these bullet points because you all are high school students, and as Ms. Lester's already pointed out, that you have to be accountable. My former director at my previous job would always tell students that ignorance of the law is no excuse, and that just means that saying that I didn't know is no excuse. So we're providing information, so we definitely want to entrust you to make sure that you're familiar with everything, and if you have questions, contact one of us in regards to that. Or when school starts, if you're in one of the 4 traditionals, these 2 here, they can assist you as well. I just want to highlight fees and books. I received a couple of calls from parents asking about fees. They said, well, I thought this was free. It is tuition free. So parents, you're getting an excellent deal, because tuition for one 3-credit hour class is approximately $250. You're not paying that. So the only thing that you have to pay are the fees associated with classes, and if you are a non-RCS student, you have to pay for your textbooks. Okay? So textbook conversation. So per a grant that Rockingham County Schools has received in collaboration with some others, textbooks for students who attend McMichael, who attend Rockingham, who attend Moorhead, and who attend Reedsville high schools. Your textbooks will be covered this year through the generosity of that grant. You will have to obtain an RCC ID, and after obtaining that ID, you may go to the bookstore with your schedule, and the bookstore will assist you in getting books. Is that the correct protocol?
And just please make sure that you tell them that you are a Rockingham County Schools CCP student. If you just walk in there and say, somebody's paying for my textbooks, they're not going to be able to pull you. They've got a list of your names, so just make sure you tell them you are a Rockingham County Schools CCP student, and you should be on that list, okay?
Got it. So, which is a wonderful opportunity to have that. You've already talked about attendance, correct? Eagle Alerts, Miss Evans is going to talk with you all about that in your technology session. That is an alert that can come to your phone, your email. Students and parents, good idea to definitely sign up for that, because that's how you'll know what's going on campus. Right?
And I want to say, for our homeschool and private school families, we love you guys. The reason that this grant is just for Rockingham County School students is because Rockingham County Schools was involved in applying for it, okay? That's the only reason that anybody else has been excluded. For everybody else, if money becomes available for scholarships for the spring, we will send applications with your schedules when we send those out, okay? So the other big piece I think we need to cover is exams and events. Sometimes students who are involved in sports or band or whatever it is, there are days where you might have to miss class. If that is the situation for you, you should have that schedule ahead of time, right? They typically give you that schedule ahead of time. So you need to let your instructor know ahead of time, okay? Give them at least a week's notice if you can. We like you to give them more notice if you can. And there may be some assignments that you have to make up before you're absent, okay? And if that's the case, just do what they ask you to do, and they won't hold that absence against you. Same thing with exams. If there are exams scheduled during class time, this is especially pertinent in the transition from fall to spring. If we have that knowledge ahead of time, we can let the instructors know, and the absence won't be counted against you. Same thing with ACT tests, I think, and those might be it. Oh, parents, we'll talk about this a little bit more, but it's in here as well. We only have permission to talk to the high school about your student, okay? Unless your student signs a separate form, we can't talk to you about a lot of their personal academic information. So please keep that in mind. We'll talk more about that in the parent session a little later. But students, I need you to hear me say that as well. We have permission to talk to the high schools.
All right, and a couple of more things, and then we're going to make our transition. Withdrawals. Extremely important. I've received a lot of emails throughout the summer from students. I'd like to change. I want to drop this class. I want to add this class. I don't want to do it anymore. Any of that. That whenever you have making changes, if you are a student that is enrolled in a traditional school setting, whether that's Community Baptist or one of our traditional schools, you must consult with the high school, because in most cases they are counting the class that you're taking here as one of your 4 classes or 5 classes or 6 classes, however your schedule is made up. So I'm going to always say, have you consulted with your high school, right? So it's very important that you do that. Same thing if you get into this semester and you decide, I can't finish, something happens, I fell behind, I don't want to get a bad grade. There's a point up in the semester that you can withdraw and not receive a grade. Same thing applies there. You must consult with the high school, because if you come out of a class, then that means they're going to have to replace the class. So just know that communication is not just with us in regards to dropping class. It will involve the high school, and in most cases, we're going to tell you that before we take any action, okay? And then last thing we'll touch on before we divide up, if there's anyone in here who receives special services, if you have what the high schools refer as an IEP, where you may perhaps receive extra time to do tests and assignments. Here at RCC, you have to self-disclose that to our accessibility counselor, who's located on our campus. So if you are someone that receives those services, you will not automatically receive them in your college classes. You will have to meet with the accessibility counselor and follow the process that she has in place. So if that is any of you, you can let one of us know, and we'll be more than happy to get you started on the process. Okay? So any questions from students before we divide you up and talk with your parents a bit? Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So, you got a question?
I don't know. I think it was. Okay. So my first question is: if you attend, let's say you attend Rockingham County High School, who is your on-campus contact? Somebody raise your hand.
Don't know the name yet, but I know where he is. I know where to point. That's hilarious. Okay. All right. Okay. I do not. Okay. All right. If you play sports, what should you do in terms of your class? You saw who? Her? Yes. I'm sorry? Yes. Tell them ahead of time. If you have an assignment to complete and you're running behind, and a friend of yours says, hey, I finished mine, do you want to look at it? What should you tell them? Whose hand was first? Bring it. And why should you tell them no? Because it's plagiarism. Nice. We got one more? One more.
Guys, if you get a shirt and the size does not work, I think if you don't take any tags off and don't do anything to it, you could probably take it back to the bookstore today and just let them know, hey, the vice president bought this as a door prize. Can I get a different size? Okay? They close at 12 today, though, so make sure we get over there before.
All right. This one I don't think we mentioned, but it was on the schedules that you received. When is the first day of college class? Yes, the 15th. Yay. Hey, that means we appreciate that because we take a lot of time highlighting information on the schedule, putting information on the letter. It makes us happy when we know people actually read it. So thank you. Okay, we're going to now bring up our Director of Admissions. And we're going to split up. There's two that I know of that need to be with the technology group first.
Okay. How are you splitting them up? Okay. Raise your hand. How many CCP?
Raise your hand if you are a
Welding.
career and technical education student. So welding, machining, air conditioning.
Just a student. Raise your hand.
Justice, early childhood.
Hi. We got to see him.
Anything that is not English, math, sociology, those college transcripts.
Okay, I'm gonna have to count as you come out. So,
Okay.
guys, just the students. Stand up. You're gonna go here. Let's count you on the way out.
Just the CTE students. Only those involved in. I don't know. Hey, Derek, where's this group going? So they're touring first?
Yeah, they'll be touring first.
Early childhood, criminal justice, business, web technologies, air conditioning, welding. I can't remember what I said already. Machining.
Anything that's not a math English.
Anything that's not a... Hey, and friends, we are going to record the parent session and put it on the website so that other parents can have questions answered too. So if you know of a parent that's not here today and you want to tell them, hey, look at the RCC CCP website, it'll be up there in a little bit. How many do you have? Okay. Oh, wow. You want to just take this side?
This session, we need 20 more. This session is going to be 20. So Angel Dickinson, Tyler Martin, you stay. How many is that? Everybody's going to do everything.
Parents, we promise we'll return them back to you. Unless you don't want them. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. How many is that, Derek?
Are you good? You good?
Just students. Students, stand up if you're still in here. Just the students. Can they do 4? Okay. All right, we're good there.
Everybody else, this is Miss Evans. You're going to do your technology.
Parents, stay with us.
So I'll be at Rockingham, Forehead.
Yesterday, I called and I said that I was in an online class beforehand and I thought I should be here, and someone on the phone told me yes. And also, you said that they're coming to our schools on the 29th, but the paper said this class is starting on the 15th.
Your class still wants the ones that are going to be taught for the high school class.
Oh, here. They went straight out. Jessica, right there in the back, she can show you where they are.
It will probably be on our website. We'll do that since it's like a review. I'll have to share that later.
Okay, guys, must be related.
Right.
All right. You want this? You want this? Since they're recording it. Hey, friends. Thanks for being here.
Okay, we always like to just take a few minutes to talk with parents because we do understand that the student's viewpoint of this program is different from parents' viewpoint of the program, and we know that parents have other interests and they want to know about other things. So we've put together this document here that has some of the frequently asked questions that we receive. And we just want to take a few minutes. Did everyone get one that they can refer to? Okay. We want to just take a few minutes and go through some of the information that is here. So I'll start with number one. This program, a lot of times I'll get we'll both get phone calls, and my child is doing a class. It sees something that they're doing dual enrollment, something like that. This program is a program by the state of North Carolina, and it's called North Carolina Career and College Promise. We refer to it as CCP for short. Basically, it is a tuition-free program that provides opportunities for eligible students to obtain college credit while they're still enrolled in high school. The great thing about the credit is everything that the student does, it is used for something else in the next step of their life. If they do college transfer, the courses have been approved by the UNC system, University of North Carolina system, to be transferable. So if your child goes to UNC, East Carolina, North Carolina A&T, Winston-Salem State, any of those 16 underneath the UNC system, guaranteed to transfer as a class as long as they make a C or better. We also have quite a few independent colleges that are also signed on to this agreement that we have. So as long as they make a C or better, it is helping them to get started on their degree, and it is saving you money. Okay? Career and technical education has a couple of purposes. First of all, it too can be credit that can be transferable to a university. It can be transferable to the program that they will want to take here at Rockingham Community College, or if we don't offer the program, at another one of our community colleges. And it also can be getting them some entry-level job skills so that they can get out and have a certification in something to begin work. The majority of our programs are designed within a year's time to give a certificate to students so they can get started and they can work or use it toward something else. So that's what the program is tuition free, but not totally free. And when you add up the cost, it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Okay? You want to take number two?
Sure. I think we kind of have hit number two a couple times. Like Ms. Capel said, tuition free but not totally free. Fees can range depending on the program that the student is in. Okay, so if you're just taking one college transfer course, your fees are going to be a little less than if you're taking multiple welding courses, because welding has safety fees associated with it and different things like that. Okay, so you are responsible for the fees every semester, and I want to highlight that because sometimes we have students and they'll say, oh, I only thought I had to pay it in the fall. Nope, it's on the application that they signed and that you signed. It says every semester fees are due for the classes that they've enrolled in. We talked a little bit about textbooks already, so unless you have questions, I'm not going to highlight that again. Let's see, let me skip on down to transportation. Normally, transportation is not provided for students, okay? This year, again, because of that grant that the school system has applied for with RCC and the Reedsville Area Foundation, the school system is providing transportation for Rockingham students and Reedsville students who are taking classes in the afternoon. If they're taking classes between 1 and 3 p.m., they're going to bring them over on a bus. So just those two schools are currently a part of that grant.
And we want this to be informal, so if there's questions as we progress, and you can ask them now, just raise your hand. Yes.
not part of that. No, they're only providing transportation between 1 and 3 p.m.
And I'm going to repeat questions because we are recording this for those who were not able to be here. And the question was, my child is at one of those schools, and they're taking a class at 8 a.m. Transportation does not pertain to them. This is only for afternoon. The question is, in regards to textbooks, if they're not a RCS student and they have to purchase textbooks, should they purchase the textbooks from the RCC bookstore? So as an RCC employee, I must say, yes, purchase them from the bookstore. However, I can't prevent you from getting your ISBN number for your books and then looking elsewhere, such as Amazon.
And if you go on the bookstore website and look up the class, it will tell you what the ISBN number is.
There was another hand? Or maybe we answered the question. Oh, yes. Yes. I need to repeat the question for the video. All right. The question is the homeschool students who reside in Rockingham County, the textbooks that will be paid, does that include them? And the answer is no. It's only those students that are enrolled in Rockingham High School, Reedsville High School, McMichael High School, and Moorhead High School. Okay. Next question. This question, number 5, is a question that is usually asked a lot by those who are actually homeschooled. And can my child just enroll in college classes? No, it's a dual enrollment program, so you need to be in something. It could be online, it could be basket weaving, but something within your high school. Next question, how are classes structured? So each instructor designs his or her own class. And that is sometimes a challenge because if your child is taking more than one class, they may have 2 different ways of having to do things. So it's very, very important that your child review the syllabus. Has already been mentioned, they must attend class. If it's online, attendance means logging in and reviewing the syllabus, and you have to adhere to whatever the instructor's policy is. Their policy, the syllabus is like a contract in a sense. So if the policy is stated within, whatever the policy is that's stated within the syllabi, that is what the student has to adhere to. Question?
I think it's important to note at this point that if your child is taking an online class and the class is totally online, then they have to log in on the first day of class, okay? They have to log in to Moodle on the first day of class. And they are learning how to log in while we're doing this session, so they hopefully will know. But they have to log in. And if they log in and they don't see their class in Moodle, they need to let somebody know before the college closes that day so we can do something about it. For most classes that are totally online, there is an enrollment activity that the student must do on the first day of class. So they have to log in. They have to do that enrollment activity. Okay? It doesn't matter if their class starts August 15th or September 6th or August 29th. If it's totally online, whatever that first day of class is, they have to log in to Moodle. Now, if their class starts September 6th and they log in on August 15th, they're not going to see their class. It won't open until their actual first day of class. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Which schedule does my child follow? And we've touched on this, but again, if we are open for class, they are expected to be in class, okay? Even if there is a teacher workday at their high school, if we are open, they are expected to be in class. And if they're taking an online class and there's an assignment due that day, they still have to submit the assignment. If there's a case where it's inclement weather and you don't feel comfortable with them driving to school, they need to let their, oh, did I skip ahead? Sorry. I skipped to number 9, apparently. Okay, so if there's a situation where you just really don't feel safe, they need to let their instructor know ASAP. And it might be good to copy one of us on that email as well. So if they're a CTE student, they copy me. If they're a college transfer student, they send that to Ms. Capel. But they need to let their instructor know so we know where they are. We do value your student safety. I will also say that a lot of classes, they tend to have attendance policies. So, if your child just kind of wastes all their absences that they're allowed for that class, and then something comes up and, they're really sick this time or whatever it is, it is what it is. If they've used all their absences, they've used all their absences. So in the case of inclement weather, I think we will, as long as you let the instructor know ahead of time, I can't promise it'll be an excused absence, but, we need to know where they are. Again, number 8, if your child misses class, refer to the syllabus for information on what the attendance policy actually is. But there are attendance policies, because a lot of cases, if you miss too much class, you've missed too much instruction. And it could be, if you're in welding, it could be significant safety instruction. So please refer to the syllabus. Please encourage your student not to skip class just because it's a beautiful day outside and they don't want to be inside. It's really important to be there and to not miss those class periods. Do you have a question? Sure. That's a good question. So the question is, do you go to the RCC website to let somebody know about absences, or does the instructor have a way to contact them? And the answer is yes, the instructor will have their contact information on their syllabus. So every student will get a syllabus for each class on the first day of school, and the instructor's contact information will be on that syllabus. And it should be accessible anytime in Moodle if they lose their hard copy as well.
Thank you for that question, because that's what I was going to follow up with. Thank you. Was there another question? Awesome. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Good question. Question is, what is Moodle? So your children right now, half of them are doing some training with our IT, our technology department. We have Moodle is our online learning system. So those of you who have students who attend the public schools, they use Canvas. Have you heard that term before, Canvas? So Canvas is the mechanism by which they submit their work for their classes. So for us at RCC, Moodle is that mechanism. So they're they're learning now how to log in to their email, how to log in to Moodle, and which is real crucial for those that will be doing online classes, because that's where the class will be on the first day of class and how they will access it. Very good question. That's what Moodle is. Another question? Okay. All right. So I think we're on the extracurricular activities. We mentioned this when we were talking with the students earlier. Very, 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 very important that you remind your child to let instructors know things in advance. We are, the college faculty, we are adapting. We're in the process of evolving and adapting to the fact that we have high school students, and that the high school life is a little different from our traditional student life. So we do know that extracurriculars are important for these students. Our faculty is very willing to work with students when they have events, but most of them will require the student to please let them know well in advance. So I think, as Jennifer mentioned, I think earlier, if they're playing a particular sport, they're going to have the schedule at the beginning of the season. Share that. Let the instructor know. Do these things in advance. And it may mean, if there's an assignment, it may mean that they're going to require them to do that assignment before and not after. This past semester, we had a student that had to be out of town during exams. And the instructor worked with the student, but that student had to do the exam on the front end. Couldn't do it after, because with our schedule, the semester would be over. So our faculty are very willing to work with students. We just have to let them know things in advance, okay, in advance. And that's not just sports, that's any other extracurricular, because I know students are involved in a lot of other things. So anything like that has to be communicated with the instructor, and the communication needs to be from the student to the instructor, okay, from the student to the instructor. Okay? Was there something? No? Okay. All right. Where are we? Oh, final exams. So the one thing, when you're having high school students on the college campus, one of the things that we have is sometimes there is a difference in scheduling. We do a very good job here of trying to synchronize schedules, if you will, but on occasion we simply cannot. And one of those occasions is how our semesters work. The college semester, this fall semester, will begin in August, and it's going to end the first part of December, and we're finished with our first semester. We will start our spring semester second week in January, if I'm remembering correctly. And those students who are in traditional schools will still be in their fall semester. So we have a bit of an overlap of when they have to begin college classes here with us and final exams. So all of our instructors are aware that that is an issue, but the same rule applies to extracurricular. As soon as the student knows when the exam is, they need to communicate that to the instructor, and they will work with them in regards to having to be in attendance in their college class. Okay? That make sense? Okay. All right, you want to take the next one?
Just one thing that we don't have in here that I was thinking about. Your child is not yet registered for spring classes. We will go back out for those enrolled in the public and private high schools. We'll try to meet with them in probably October. For those that are homeschool students, we ask that they come see us probably around October. And we don't have to do the whole process again. We don't have to do an application. You don't have to sign that. But we do have to sit down with them and talk about what classes they're interested in. So they are not registered for spring. We will do that around about October.
And also, as far as that goes, if your child is regularly checking RCC email, which they should be, there will be notifications of when spring schedule is out for view, when advising is available, and my assistant, I usually ask her to send emails too, reminder emails, specifically to home and private school students, because we don't have access to them like we do the traditional schools, as reminders. But if they're checking RCC email, they will receive some reminders about that for spring semester as well. Did you have a question? The question is, do the parents have to attend when we're meeting the students about spring classes? No, just the student.
Okay, so I get to cover some of the, I think, most contentious questions we get with CCP. So I am referring to 12 and 13 in your book. I alluded to this earlier. Can you call instructors to ask questions or inquire about your student's status? No. You cannot. Well, you can, but they're not supposed to tell you anything. Okay, so if you have questions, I would encourage you to reach out to one of us. You could reach out to Carl or Sharon as well if you're in the traditional high schools. But that's only because the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of 1974, maybe, it just says that once they're a college student, their college record is protected. And it's theirs. And I know, they're still in your household and you're still paying for most of their stuff, but it's just federal law says we can't share a lot of that information, okay? If a student would like us to be able to give parents information, then they need to come see one of us themselves. Again, they could see Carl and Sharon if they're in one of the public traditional high schools, or they could see Ms. Capel or myself. They need to come see us with a photo ID. There's a form that they have to fill out and sign, and they choose what they want to give people access to, and then that goes in their file, and they can cancel it at any time. But I'll just tell you from my experience here, I've talked to many students and parents about FERPA. I had one time come into my office and tell their student that if they didn't sign the form, they didn't have a place to live. And you can't do that, okay? You may do that like just when you're by yourselves. I can't control that, but you can't do that in my office, okay? That's illegal, so don't involve me in that. So your student has to come themselves with a photo ID. There's a form that they have to sign before we can talk to you about in-depth information. Oh, yeah, okay. So they did sign an information release when we met with them in the school, but that only gives permission for us to talk to the high school. Okay? That only gives permission for us to talk to the high school. It does not give permission for us to talk to anybody else. Any questions about that? Okay. That's fine. Uh-huh. We are going to cover that in just a minute. Okay. We're going to go over it in just a minute. The question was about IEPs, and we're going to go over that in just a minute. Mm-hmm.
So I think I probably see, and my apologies because I don't know that we've said this at the beginning, but I am the primary advisor for students underneath college transfer, and I don't know that I said that at the beginning. Jennifer's primary advisor for those under career and technical ed. We both work with both students, but first point of contact, college transfer, would be me. First point of contact, CTE, would be Jennifer. I think I probably see more of the homeschool students than Jennifer does. We do not typically have the homeschool students to sign the form because it's usually a student for that particular school, and the student typically just requests a transcript whenever they need the transcript from the college. Typically, they just let their parents see the grade in Moodle. So we do not typically do that for individual homeschools. We haven't, I've been here 7 years, and it hasn't been an issue of having to have that. We do the forms within the public schools and like Community Baptist and this year Bethany, because we'll be dealing with multiple students, and we have to send their grades there to post to their high school transcripts. So that's why we have to do it there, and homeschool transcripts are handled in a different manner.
But I think that's a good question because, yeah, if you want to come talk to us about your student, you need a FERPA form on file. Yes, but typically the idea is that your student is sharing that information with you. They can log in at any time and see their grades, and so if they'll share that information with you. But if needed, they just need to come in and sign a FERPA form.
Okay, we're to the question. The question is, my child has an IEP. can he or she receive accommodations? I mentioned this briefly when we had the students in here. The answer to that is yes, they can receive accommodations. However, the process works differently on the college campus. The very last page in the packet that you have has what's the difference? What's the difference? And it talks about how things are handled on the public school side. And then on the opposite side, it talks about post-secondary schools, which would be how things are handled here at RCC. So the biggest difference is the college does not use IEPs, which are individual education plans. We do not use those. The accessibility counselor is going to base the accommodation strictly on whatever documentation you may have received from a medical professional, if it is a physical condition, or a mental professional, if it's something mental health related. There will be paperwork that would be required, and in a lot of cases there may be a request for test scores or documentation like that that would have to go to that person. Once the meetings are done and all the documentation is in, each semester the student will have to come and request that their instructors that they have are informed. And there's a process that the accessibility counselor has for all of that to occur. Second big difference is you cannot do that for your child. Your child has to come. Now, you can come with your child, but your child has to be there, and your child has to be the one that says, I have this going on, and I'm going to need, I typically get extra time. Will I be able to get it here? And then you get the ball rolling, okay? But all of the differences between the two and how things are handled is on the back, as well as, let's see if it has the contact on there. Or do we just say refer to the accessibility counselor? I remember doing this. Okay.
On your student's brochure, on the very back is contact information for the accessibility counselor.
Yes. Okay. Any other question in regard to that? It is very, very, very important that your child self-disclose, if that is an issue, at the beginning of the semester. At the beginning of the semester, because I have had students that will get over halfway in the semester, after the withdrawal date has passed, really struggling, and they're panicking and wanting to withdraw from classes, and that's when they say, hey, I have this going on. At that point, we really can't help you in that semester. There's not a lot we can do. So please, if that is the case, have your child to do that at the beginning of the semester. Okay? Next question we have is there tutoring available? Yes. We have what we call Academic Resource Center. It's called the ARC, and it is available to all students. All students. And each semester, the hours for the ARC, they're shared via email. The instructors, especially if they have students that they think could benefit from it, will also share that information. But the hours of how the ARC works, when it works, is all shared via email. So that is available to your student. Yes?
So that's something that my high school student would have to do on campus here.
The question is that something that my high school student would have to do on campus here? Yes. For the ARC, yes. Absolutely. I don't know if they still use that net tutor thing or not, but the ARC is definitely an on-campus thing. Yes. Good question. Any other question? How do students receive grades? Okay, so Jennifer mentioned when she was talking about consent forms a few minutes ago, she mentioned that we have consent forms for the traditional schools and the private schools where the students sign for us to communicate. At the end of the semesters, my assistant, who I need to introduce, Jessica Crowder, back here in the back, she's the one that some of you have talked to. She's the one that sends out our mailings. I'm sorry, Jessica. I should have did that on the front end. So at the end of the semester, we sent out this document to all of the faculty that are teaching our students, we say we will need your final grades at the end of the semester. And when the semester's up, they send us final grades. And then those final grades are then shared with the high schools, and then they will post on the high school transcript. So when you see your child's high school transcript, it will also have their college grade included there. Okay? She asked, do they have to have 2 separate transcripts? The only time you'll have to have 2 separate transcripts is if you're going to, when your child is getting ready to apply for college, the high school transcript will be required, and the colleges will request that your child get an official transcript from RCC that reflect the RCC classes. But for general grades, receiving your grades like at the end of the semester, no, that's going to be reflected all on the high school transcript. Okay? Did you want to say something?
Just to go back to tutoring real quick, we think there might be online tutoring as well, but that information will be sent out via email to your students' RCC student email if that is offered this semester. Okay, how do students withdraw from classes? So, oh, you didn't do, okay. In your book, number 17, there is a URL there. If your student would like to request an RCC transcript to send to a college or give to an employer or whatever it is, they can go to that website to request a transcript. Essentially, on our webpage, if you go to our webpage, there's a Student Services tab. You click on Records Office, and there's information there. Okay, but it's right there. All right, withdrawing from classes. Last question. We said this earlier when your students were in here, but it is so important that if they have to withdraw from a class, that they let us know, but they also let their counselor know. Okay? A lot of times we need to kind of confirm with their counselor that everything's okay, because what if they decide to withdraw from a class and they had to have that class to graduate and it's too late to get them registered for something else? That's going to be a problem. And maybe we can help them with resources or tutoring or something like that. So it is crucial that your student let us know they want to withdraw, and they let their high school counselor know if they're a traditional public school student, a private school student, or a charter school student. Okay? If they're a homeschool student, we'll work with you to do what we need to do. I also wanted to just say that there is an opportunity for your student to do more than one pathway. Like, for example, if they want to take English and math, but they also want to take criminal justice or something like that, they could do that. But again, that's another form they have to sit with us and take care of, and they have to have permission from their principal and our vice president. So it is a little bit time intensive, but that is a possibility for the future if that's something that they want to do. Okay? What questions do you all still have that we have not answered? Yes?
Salvation first, and then we'll give you.
Great question. The question is, what about parking when they come? So when they go get their student ID made in the Whitcomb Student Center, they can also get their parking permit. They're going to need to have certain information like the make, model, and color of the car, I think, and the license plate. But it's part of their fees, so they don't have to pay for that when they go. So they get their parking permit. It tells them where to display it in the car. If there are multiple cars that they could be driving, you could get multiple parking tags, okay? And then they just need to make sure that they park in a spot that is a student or visitor spot, not a faculty staff spot, okay? And depending on where their classes are would depend on where they park. So for criminal justice and business and information technology, they're probably going to be in this building. They would just park in this parking lot right out here. For welding and any of the industrial technologies, there's a parking lot down by the industrial tech building and the humanities building. They can park there. There's a parking lot by the science building. So there's quite a lot of parking options on campus that should be fairly close to their classes. However, I would encourage you to encourage them to make sure that they leave enough time in their schedule to get here and find a parking spot just in case there's an event going on or whatever it is, and they have to walk a little bit to class. Don't, try not to save it to the last minute to get here just in case they have to find a parking spot.
Question here.
Uh-huh. That's a great question. The question was about accessibility for students who may be on crutches or in a wheelchair or something like that. So every building should be accessible. There are elevators in the buildings with multiple floors. There are ramps to the buildings. The front may be the staircase, but there may be a ramp just to the side that goes up. I'm trying to think. I think, yes. I think the answer to your question is yes, everything should be accessible to your student. Yes. Yes, there are buttons on the doors to open the doors, and she should be fine. And if she needs help with anything, the staff here is fabulous. So.
And just to add to that, she said the doors working, but if she were to find that she was going into a building and something wasn't working, please let us know. Then that means a battery or something is malfunctioning. We'll have to get that taken care of relatively quickly. But yes, I do think she should be fine.
Any other questions for us?
Yes. Great question. The question is that on this schedule, it has Monday, Wednesday, Friday for classes, but the first day of class, the 15th, is actually a Thursday. So the first day of class for your child will be Friday. So whenever it has a start date, it's either on that day, if you have class that day, or the very next day that is on your schedule. So your child would actually start Friday. Great question. Yes. So the question was her child had a class on Thursday and Friday, and she wanted to clarify if he comes Thursday or Friday. So yes, if the class is Thursday, which is the 15th, that will be the first day. But if you don't have a Tuesday, Thursday class, you have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, the Friday after will be the first day. Good question. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Which high school? Oh, the question was about time for those that are attending traditional schools. Will there be time to leave their traditional school and get to RCC in time to get to their classes? And the answer should be yes. With our schedules, we consult with the high schools, so the high schools are aware that they're taking classes at RCC at a particular time. And so the accommodations are supposed to be made on the high school end to allow them ample time to get here. Does that answer your question? Yes, ma'am. The question is, on the schedule, it has Monday through Saturday on the schedule for online class. I do not know why that comes out that way, but all online classes will have every day of the week listed. But online classes are not restricted to any particular day. If it's an online class and the start date says August 15th, on August 15th, you go in and you log in at some point in time on that day. It could be in the morning, afternoon, or if you're a night owl, it could be 10 o'clock. But log in. I'm sorry.
Log in at 10 o'clock and something's wrong, we're not here to help Okay, so the other thing we have are hybrid classes, and hybrid classes, the schedule might say like Monday from 1 to 2:50, and then it has every day of the week listed for the online portion. Okay, so that still means they come to campus at some point, but they have online work to do as well. So I'd still encourage them to log in on the first day of class and see if it is showing.
And with the login, you mentioned online class. When they log in, there's always going to be a introductory assignment that they have to do. Typically, there is a period of time that they have to complete that before the instructor is going to assume this student is not going to be in this class. So logging in on the first day is very important so we can, A, make sure that everything is showing up correctly. Because if you don't see your class, then we got to figure out why that's happening. And B, you have to get that assignment so that you can get that initial enrollment assignment complete. Because again, that's how they know that you intend to be in that class. But after that, it is the beauty of online is there'll be a day that classes will be submitted. Assignments will be posted, and then there'll be a day when it's due. You just got to work in between and make sure you get everything entered by the deadline. Was there another question? Yes, ma'am. The question is tutoring free? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. In our ARC, there is RSCC faculty as well as some honor students that assist within the ARC in tutoring students. Other questions? So I saw that the groups have switched. So everybody's in their last session. So we do have a few more minutes. I would like Carl and Sharon, they didn't want to say anything, but I'm going to put them on the spot so that they can say something. So we'd like for them to come up and just say a little bit about themselves and anything else they'd like to share, since we got some time.
Well, good morning. She did put us on the spot, and it wasn't that I didn't really have anything to say. I just didn't want to say too much and take away from the orientation. I am elated to be in the position as a career coach, looking forward to working with your students on campus, giving them the access to the resources that they need. If it is anything that they are interested in, not sure, want to think about, we will research that career pathway for them to see how we can get them best situated, what is the best path for them to go down. Maybe they changed their mind. Maybe they're thinking of some things differently. So we definitely are going to be there as a great resource for them. Carl and I, as they stated, I'll be at Reedsville and he'll be at the other high schools, but it may be times where they may see us on other campuses, okay? So I may be at Rockingham or whatever, because we do plan to work as a great team together. So I just want to make you all aware. I am just very excited about this and hopefully we'll be going into some classrooms, doing some workshops. So hopefully you'll hear our name on a regular basis if they want to come and see us. So that's just a little bit, because I can talk all day about different things. So.
All right, and hello everyone. My name is Carl Thompson, and I'm going to be the North Carolina career coach. So Sharon's mentioned that she's going to be located at Reedsville High School primarily. I'm going to be at Michael Moorhead and Rockingham High School. So that's mainly where I'm going to be. I'm excited to be in this position. It is a relatively new position to Rockingham Community College, and we're excited to be in it. We're mainly going to be stationed in these high schools to be a resource for students. And to let them know about opportunities that are available at the local community college, preferably Rockingham Community College, but also, of course, opportunities that are available at community colleges, period, that students aren't aware of. So, but as far as that, in regards to parents, you all, and of course your children, as far as that's concerned, we're basically there to be a resource. They can reach out to us or they can contact us at any time when we're stationed there. And I'm going to give you my contact information also, because I know mine's not listed on the brochure. They can come to us if they have any issues. We're most likely going to be the primary point of contact or the primary contacts. So let me just give you my phone number and my name again, so I'm not the nameless person. So my name again is going to be Carl Thompson. Any issues spelling that, let me know. But of course, that's just C-A-R-L. And of course, my number is going to be the Rockingham Community College number here. That connects, links to my cell phone. So that number is going to be 336, in case you don't know, 342-4261. And my extension is going to be 2161. All right. And if you need me to repeat that, just let me know. 336-342-4261, extension 2161 in Carl Thompson. All right. So if any of your children are going to be stationed at any of those high schools, let me know. Reach out to me if there are any issues. If I can't address it or handle it, we'll send it up the chain of command. Excited to be here, and thank you all.
Do you want to say something in reference to that? I wanted to.
He can't give his extension and I don't give mine. So
That includes you.
my extension is 2151. And if you can't reach us, because we will be on campuses, please reach us via email, and we'll, once you can look us up on our RCC page,
You wanted to
homepage.
say something in reference to that? Okay.
So, again, I do want to just highlight for our friends at Bethany, Sharon will be working with Bethany some as well. So if we have any parents with students at Bethany, she'll be working some there. For homeschool students, private school students that we didn't already cover, Ms. Capel and I are definitely accessible. Just reach out to us. You can also reach out to one of them as well, but we're your primary point of contact.
Okay, and then I also wanted to just officially introduce, she was in the back. This is Jessica Kreider. She is the administrative assistant for my area. Glad to have her. So there may be times that you will receive information from her, the mailings and requesting of grades, all of that. She plays a huge part in getting that information. So I wanted to officially introduce her. This is her first year with us, so she's learning but doing a fantastic job, and I'm glad to have her. Ms. Lester and I, we do multiple jobs. That's why we have to have some assistance, but just keep in mind that in terms of your career and college promise questions, concerns, we will be your primary contact. We have to make sure that we say that because our coaches are certain things that they're supposed to be doing more of than others. So just make sure that you know that that's the primary contact. Did you want to maybe mention your apprenticeship thing? Maybe? I don't know if there's a...
Have you guys heard of Rocket Top? Yeah, some of you have. Yay! Rocket Top is the Rockingham Apprenticeship and Technical Opportunities Partnership. It's a very exciting program that we are just getting ready to start our second full year. Some of you all may know students who are a part of this. It is an apprenticeship program. So what happens with this program is students express interest during their junior or senior year of high school. It is open to public school students, private school students, homeschool students, charter school students in Rockingham County. So there's a whole process that they go through, a whole vetting process with these companies that are interested in apprentices. And right now we're focused on advanced manufacturing. We're looking at information technology as a second apprenticeship opportunity, but that's not fully planned out yet. So advanced manufacturing is where we are. And these students have to attend an open house to be able to apply, an open house at the companies with a parent or guardian. They submit their applications. They're invited to a 4-night orientation. It's like a 4-night job interview. We have so much fun. It is an amazing opportunity. They do hands-on activities. They do some machining. They do some speed interviewing, some testing, all kinds of things during this time. And the companies try to get a good idea of, do they want to be involved with the student? Does the student want to be involved with them? They all decide who's going to go where. And then there's, over the summer, it's like a 6-week interview, essentially. They're taking 2 college classes with us, and they're working for their company during the summer. They get paid for the time that they're in class. They get paid for the time that they're working. Their tuition is covered. Their books and their fees are covered. It is free to the student. They come out debt-free. It does take about 4 years for them to get the full associate degree once they have been invited to actually participate in the apprenticeship program. So please hear me say that just because they get invited to the orientation or just because they get invited to take classes in the summer, that doesn't mean they're part of the apprenticeship program, okay? After the summer, the companies decide, is it a good fit? The student decides, is it a good fit? And the companies decide who moves forward, okay? So once they're fully in the apprenticeship program, it's about a 4-year program, but they're getting their associate degree, they're getting their tuition paid for, their books paid for, their fees paid for, they're getting paid when they're sitting in a seat in a classroom, and they're getting paid when they're on the job. They're earning a career, they're coming out debt-free, and they're learning a lot of really great life lessons along the way, and professional development and all kinds of things. So it's a really amazing program. If you know a student who's interested in being a part of that, we will start sending out information in the fall again. So watch our websites, watch the high schools if you're in a traditional high school. But we're just really excited to be a part of it. It is not an RCC program. It is a program that is led by business and industry in the community who have looked at their workforce and realized that people are aging out, and they're retiring and they're leaving with all these skills that they can't replace, right? So they're bringing in people to train and to capture that information before someone retires. But it's an awesome program. We're really excited to be a part of it. So if you want to know more, let me know. And we'll be signing a new group of apprentices in this auditorium August 13th at 6 p.m.
Okay, if there are no other questions, thank you so much for coming out today. Thank you for your time, your questions. We are certainly looking forward to having your children with us, looking forward to them having this great opportunity to get college credits and save you some money. So if you need any of us, please let us know. Have a great day. Wonderful weekend.